Yes! Yeah! This is the DC Extended Universe's only movie this year. I've been looking forward to this one since it's about a supervillain. Fitting, I guess, for the month of October. So let's finally talk about it without spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the movie here. Will I make a spoiler talk for this movie? Yeah. But that is not here, that is not now. For now, you can sit back, relax, enjoy the spoiler-free review of... Black Adam. So, Black Adam is the 12th film in the DC Extended Universe, and its 13th installment overall. It's a spin-off from Shazam, which came out 3.5 years ago. In that movie, the wizard Shazam, played by Djimon Hounsou, mentioned that thousands of years ago he chose a champion, but he ended up choosing wrong, because he turned out to be quite the douchebag. So he was sealed away. But now, 5,000 years later in present day, he has been awakened, and now he's here to exact his vengeance. And so the Justice Society is sent after him. And now we have a fight for morality. That is our Black Adam movie. So, the million-dollar question, is this movie good? Hell fucking yeah! I had a blast with this movie. It's not without flaws, of course. In fact, there were clearly some parts where I was like, whoa, okay, that could have been a lot better. I'll get to those when I get to them. But first and foremost, let's get to the rock in the room. Dwayne Johnson plays the title character Teth-Adam. We heard years ago that he was cast as this character, and since then he's been building up the hype of this movie like nobody's business. Which really piqued my curiosity because as an actor, he tends to play the same kind of character in everything he does. Which is pretty much the character of Billy Batson. He's a big man-child. But Black Adam is a really serious character. He's an anti-hero when he's not a straight-up villain, which means this is a pretty different role for him. So seeing the trailers for this, I was like, alright, I want to see what this guy's really made of. And after seeing this movie, I am happy to say that Dwayne Johnson crushed it as Teth-Adam. I thought he was great. Yep, best acting I've seen from him yet. I mean, did he have some humorous moments? Yes, but those moments were really built off of something that someone else says. It wasn't him trying to be funny, which calmed my nerves. I was like, phew, Teth-Adam is a serious character. He's got his motivations for being a douche. And DJ played that very well. I could take him seriously. So all sorts of props to you, man. Honestly, I'm curious to see where you go from here with this character. Now, as for the Justice Society, in this movie, the team is made up of Atom Smasher, Cyclone, Dr. Fate, and Hawkman. That wasn't intentional, but I just listed them alphabetically. The standouts here are, of course, Pierce Brosnan as Kent Nelson, Dr. Fate. I thought he was awesome in this movie. I don't know a whole lot about this character in DC lore, but from what I saw here in this film, the dude kicks ass. Not just as Dr. Fate, but as Kent Nelson himself when he's just Pierce Brosnan. I mean, when you have superpowers that are connected with sorcery and you've been doing it for, I imagine, a while, you're probably gonna end up being pretty wise. He's got some dialogue in this movie where I was like, damn, that cut deep. And then, of course, when he is Dr. Fate and he's doing all his awesome wizard stuff, I was like, this is some cool shit. There are some pretty awesome spells he casts in this movie. But also Aldous Hodge as Carter Hall, Hawkman. He has a pretty important role in this movie too. Because really, he's the one who doesn't trust Black Adam. Since, the Justice Society is trying to contain him. The scene we saw in the trailer where Hawkman's like, we're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender. And Black Adam's like, I'm not peaceful, nor do I surrender. That builds up some bad blood between the two, and the two of them clash in this movie. And it's awesome to see. And I guess from that, we should just go right into the action. Because the action in this movie, oh my god. This movie is all about the action scenes, guys. Because they are an explosive good time. When the fights are going down between Black Adam and the Justice Society, everyone's using their powers, it's awesome. It's what we want to see from a movie like this. I mean, we have Black Adam. He has the same powers as Shazam and pretty much Superman. He's pretty much indestructible. He's got super strength. He can fly. He can shoot lightning from his hands like the Emperor and shit. And we have him going up against Hawkman, who can also fly. And he's got his awesome chainball thing, and the fight is just thoroughly entertaining. And then he goes up against Dr. Fate, and that fight's visually awesome. Although I will say, as for Atom Smasher and Cyclone, they're the ones who didn't really have to be in the movie at all. I mean, their powers were really cool to see, sure. But they didn't really contribute anything to the overall plot at all. I feel like they were in this movie to be warm bodies. Like, the Justice Society can't just be 2 people, for some reason. So let's make it 4 people, so it'll seem like more of a team, and that's good enough. And again, they were cool to see. I just feel like in a perfect world, they would have contributed more to the story. But their action was still cool, though. I'm not done talking about the action yet. It's just way too awesome to stop talking about now. There are some scenes in this movie where Black Adam is just weighing lace to these guys. You remember the beginning of Aquaman? Where he's in that submarine and he's just taking out all these guys like no problem and you're just cracking up? Yeah, it's pretty much like that in this movie. These goons are going after Black Adam and you're just laughing knowing that they are most likely not going to live through the situation. I found it hilarious. There's actually a lot of humor in this movie, more than I thought there would be, which at first I was like, alright. I was hoping for this movie to be a little more serious, but to my surprise, the humor made me laugh out loud quite a few times. Like I was actually laughing out loud, I wasn't just chuckling a little bit. It was a real laugh. I don't know, it just ended up working for me. So good on the movie for that. Surprising me with good humor. It's actually pretty hard to pull off. Now, with everything I've given praise to in this movie so far, the acting, the characters, the humor, the action scenes, I have now come to the part of this review where I gotta take some points off. I'm not gonna enjoy this part. But unfortunately, the story in this movie did feel a little jumbled at times. There's a lot of things this movie wants to do. Like, it wants to be a story about Teth-Adam, and it also wants to be a story about the city of Kahndaq, which is where most of this movie takes place. And actually, I will say, this movie does have some interesting social commentary in it. For the sake of no spoilers, I'm not going to say exactly what it touches on here. I'll definitely touch on it in my spoiler talk, though, because I found it really cool. I was like, that is a really good point. Now, granted, the movie doesn't really take the deep dive into that. Then again, I wasn't really asking it to. I was there first and foremost for the action and the cool DC stuff. I wasn't expecting any social commentary, so the fact that it was even in there at all, I commend that. The problem is, it doesn't really mesh with the other stories in the movie in the smoothest way. It made the movie feel a little jumbled. And there's this kid in the movie. He's not a good actor, I don't think. He has a role in the movie. He's a character. And there's a scene where he takes the spotlight and I was like, no, yeah, prime top tier Oscar acting right here. Sorry, kid, you've got some ways to go. Keep taking those acting classes, though. I want to see you get better. As for the score in this movie, it was composed by Lorne Balfe, who wrote the scores for Mission Impossible Fallout, Black Widow, Lego Batman Movie. He's a good composer. His music in this film, this is gonna sound weird, but it sounded a bit derivative. When I say that, I know that a lot of superhero scores sound like a lot of superhero scores. What I mean is that a lot of times throughout the movie, I was like, oh, the music sounds like this other movie. Like, that sounded like Pacific Rim. That kind of sounded like Man of Steel. Just saying, it does. That doesn't make it bad. The music was really cool in this movie. I got the soundtrack. All I'm really saying is that it's not Balfe's strongest score yet. Still cool, though. Guys, in the end, Black Adam was a lot of what I wanted it to be. Dwayne Johnson blew me away as the title character. I loved seeing him destroy guys with no effort. Dr. Fate was badass. Hawkman was really cool. Atom Smasher and Cyclone, they were alright. The plot, like I said, felt a little jumbled at times. There were points where I was like, alright, you had to do that movie? Really? But I can just brush all that aside because the action scenes in this movie are the highlight because they are awesome! Really, this is one of those movies where I can enjoy the hell out of it just watching it, and whatever I don't like about it, I can just throw by the wayside. Like Sonic 2. For the most part, I love that movie. I got it off the iTunes store, I watch it, and the boring scenes with James Marsden, I just skip. Black Adam's gonna be like that. But for now, I gotta be objective as a reviewer. So for Black Adam, I will say, go see this movie while it's in theaters. I can't wait for the day this movie shows up on HBO Max. That way I can watch it again and just skip all the stuff I didn't like. And life will be good. So, Black Adam, have you seen it yet? What are your thoughts on it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Peace!